In today's Valheim video, we find out if you should ditch the feathered cape before you head to the Ashlands. Let's get to it. So in all of my recent Ashlands videos, I've been seeing a bunch of comments from people saying that they're surprised I'm still wearing the feathered cape, or I shouldn't be wearing the feathered cape because it makes you weak to fire. And to be honest with you, this whole you need to ditch something because it does a certain thing in a certain biome and you shouldn't wear it line of thinking really needs to end. So I'm going to attempt to put a stop to that today with this video. So setting up the testing for this was a little bit challenging in order to get consistently lit on fire and get the same amount of damage done to me, but I think I was able to eliminate most of the variables. And just to be on the safe side, as usual, we'll be doing multiple tests each round. We're going to start off with just standing in a campfire with no armor, no cape, no nothing, just so we can get an idea of base damage values for a control. For this, we're going to follow the same pattern every time. We're going to eat a bunch of food, we're going to instantly heal with a hotkey, and then we're going to walk onto the fire and stand on it until the fire breaks. Do note that we are going to be taking some smoke damage in all of this, but we're just going to figure that into the overall damage taken, as it's something that's kind of hard to filter out and it should be the same amount every time. Our key points here are going to be what we are ticking for once it has hit its max damage, so that's why we're looking at the last two numbers, and just how much damage we took overall. So on the first test for our base values, the last two numbers that we ticked for were 8.9, and we took a total of 69 damage. On test number 2, once again, we ticked for 8.9, and our total damage this time was 100. On test number 3, once again, 8.9 were the last two numbers that we ticked for, and total damage once again was 100. So the 8.9, very consistent, and I think it's safe to say that on average, we're going to take about 100 damage. Okay, now that we got our control group done, we know about how much damage we're going to take on average with no protection whatsoever. Let's drink a barley wine and then stand on the fire. Once again, no armor, nothing else, just naked on the fire with some barley wine. So with test number 1, the last two ticks of damage that we took were for 4.5 damage, and our overall damage taken was 50. On to test number 2, and the results are the exact same, 4.5 for our last two ticks of damage, and our overall damage is 50. This test was extremely consistent because test 3 was the exact same, 4.5 ticks of damage for our last two, and our overall damage was 50. Now let's put the feathered cape on and do the exact same tests and see how much more damage we take. Our first results with the cape on end with 144 total damage taken, and our last two ticks of damage were 14.3. With test number 2, there was a slight difference. We took a total of 156 damage. However, the last two ticks of damage we took were the exact same, coming in at 14.3. Test number 3 ends in a variation as well. However, the last two ticks of damage we took were consistent, coming in at 14.3. However, our total damage taken was 160. To be honest with you, I'm not sure what's causing these variations. Could be smoke damage, I don't know, but we do have consistent values in the last 2 points of damage that we ticked for, and that was 14.3 with the cape on. So it's significantly higher with the cape, which you would expect because it makes us weak to fire. The next test you are seeing is what happens when you stand on a fire or take fire damage while you have a protection bubble on you. And as you can clearly see, you don't take any damage. The damage that we are taking is from smoke inhalation, and I'm not sure why we are even taking that damage, but the protection bubble prevents us from taking any fire damage at all. And this is consistent with multiple tests. You just don't take fire damage when you have the protection bubble because the protection bubble is absorbing all the fire damage you would be taking. But Firespark, I hear you say,
what happens if I get caught without my protection bubble?
This next test is the cape and some barley wine. That's it. No other armor, just cape and barley wine. So you can see from the results of our first test here, there is a massive difference. Our last 2 points of damage that we ticked for were 1.4, significantly lower than when we did not drink the barley wine and took fire damage with the cape on. But not only that, because the cape provides us with a small amount of armor, we take even less damage than what we took when we weren't wearing the cape, which was 8.9. And our overall damage for this first test was only 13 points of damage, which honestly, if you had a lot of health, you would heal through really quickly. Test number 2 had almost the same results. Our overall damage taken was 16, so a slight variation there. However, the last 2 points of damage that we ticked for were still 1.4. Test number 3, we took 23 points of damage overall, but once again, last 2 ticks of damage were only 1.4. Now, in our final test, we are going to wear a full set of mage armor, so not even the best protection you can get. We could actually go tankier and wear flame metal armor, but I want to prove a point, so we're just going to wear the mage armor and the feathered cape and drink a barley wine and then stand on the fire. And as you can clearly see, we are not taking any damage at all because it's already reduced enough from the barley wine and the armor that we're wearing that it just negates all of the damage. The only damage we're taking here is from the smoke inhalation, and there isn't a whole lot we can do about that, but that's not related to fire in the sense that it is fire damage in any way. Smoke inhalation is its own set of damage and its own thing. We're going to take 2 ticks of damage every time it ticks, regardless of whether or not we are wearing the feathered cape or not. Hopefully this shows you that you don't need to just ditch something because it has some attribute on it that the biome that you're heading to has. It's pretty easy to counteract the weakness to fire that this cloak gives you, and you gain all of the benefits from it, which are absolutely insane. This is easily one of, if not the most OP cloak in the game. It got a buff with the Ashlands update. Now, not only does it reduce your fall damage to nothing and limit your fall speed by 5 meters a second, it also increases your jump height by 20% and lowers your jump stamina usage by 20%. When it comes to needing maneuverability, this thing is absolutely phenomenal. So no, when you head over to the Ashlands, you should not give up this cape if this cape is a cape that you enjoy and you are used to playing with it just because there's a little bit of fire over there. Just drink some barley wine and you'll be fine. As you saw from the tests, the barley wine is enough to counteract the weakness that the cloak gives you. We really need to give up this whole idea of just because we go to another biome and there's new stuff there, that new stuff is inherently better in every shape or form than the stuff from the previous biome, because that's not the case with everything. As I've shown in previous videos, there are plenty of weapons from the previous biomes that are still completely viable in this biome, specifically anything that has chill or does frost damage, and it's basically the same situation with different armor types. Even more so if you decide to wear something like the flame metal armor, which is going to give you even more armor and more resistances. All right, that's going to be it for this one. Just a short, sweet video. Hopefully you all found it helpful and informational. If you did, please consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And if you're looking for some more of my content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.